something else, I guess. Because Europeans tell about Apple to change the connections, what they call it, lightning cable. I actually think, for some time I was thinking about it. Why they want to change? I think they want to change to C or some kind of connection like that. What's my idea about connection for iPhone? Well, I can tell from my experience. I have cable like this. I think it's C. I think that's what Europeans want for the iPhone. What do I think about C for iPhone? Well, first of all, what I think from my experience, the iPhone doesn't have this protection. You see the around protection. So all my iPhone cables, they don't last long time for some reason. Because, well, first of all, it's not gold. They don't put gold for contacts. They put some kind of, not Apple, maybe Apple, but many companies, they make sell for like $15, but they put like thin metal, not gold. I don't know what kind. Their beginning point, it's not good contact already because it's not gold. Plus, they probably choose some kind of cheap, soft material for corrosion, and thin too. So, what happens if you don't have this protection? Your cable is exposed to corrosion, dirt, scratches, all kind of stuff. Like normally in electronics, if you have like amplifier or anything, you put one time, but many times they have protection, like around, or partially protection. But for electronics, you just connect one time. You don't connect every day. So my idea, actually, you don't need to have C cable like for iPhone. I have iPhone. You don't need to have C cable, but I think this protection is better. Suppose whatever iPhone has, like lightning, just to put this protection around, I believe actually it will be better. Relax, because like if I study cable conditions, you know, like those engineers for testing engineers or product engineers, normally those product engineers, they look at problems. Believe it or not, many of Toyota changes, they're actually because of certain problems or complaints. The Toyota is like constant improvement, and they're okay with it. So if something not right, Toyota doesn't afraid to change. So suppose like if I test this, like one cable, like normal Apple cable, and this, like suppose I have the same Apple but with the thin around. It's like a jacket, I guess, or like a protection, you know. So if I go through different conditions, heating like steering wheel, the floor, bags, because people don't just put the cable in the phone and then remove and put inside of protection. Most likely it's gonna be everywhere, like my iPhone. Anywhere you throw, pretty much is gonna be there. It's not gonna be like somewhere like in a certain place where you put, like suppose you have place to plug in. So if iPhone suppose condition in the car, condition number one in the car, so suppose I am charging, right, with iPhone cable. If I unplug, if there is option to put somewhere to be protected from dirt and from scratches, whatever, smashes, then it's maybe alright. But many times people don't have it. Just connect and throw. And now I have, for instance, cooler. Let's see, cooler. Well, I might have something to drink. I have some other things. So the contacts are not protected. And normally for good electronics, Japanese, they use gold for expensive electronics, for contacts, because gold, no corrosion. So when you have that loss of signal, it's kind of signal, kind of like connected, not connected, connected, not connected. That's most likely corrosion, because it looks like connected, but the corrosion make that connected, not connected kind of stuff. I actually believe Apple should make that. I don't know if you can call it C. You don't need C. Europeans want C. That's their quick decision, I guess, based on what they have. You don't need, to me, you don't need to have C if you want to be different. But you can have protection. It can be wider or this or that. Well, the thing is, because of iPhone, those speakers, they put speakers kind of for the whole bottom. If you go too wide, probably no room for speakers. So it's okay to make whatever size, just like iPhone, like they have, but with the protection. So now, when you plug in, beside the normal protection, you have the second thing, kind of protecting from bending. Actually, it's a better construction. But like I said, you don't need to have C. I think it's called C. But right now, many devices, they have this. It looks like oval. Many devices, they have this. Maybe Apple can have, if Apple has the same, but oval, but it will be like a little bit bigger oval. It's okay. Just add a little extra. Because that piece inside, if it's too thin, you can break. So that's just my thinking about Apple cable. People say wireless. Yeah, I have wireless, but many times you don't want to carry wireless with you. Or you need to have wireless everywhere, in the car, at home, everywhere. So if I see some low battery, then I need to have wireless. But besides wireless, people use for like to connect to computer, download, upload, or whatever. I actually, my car radio is made for iPhone. I have car radio iPhone, so like if I listen music like this, Pandora, Spotify, I don't like to run Bluetooth. I do use Bluetooth if my cable doesn't work. Otherwise, I just connect by cable. I don't use Bluetooth for radio. So my opinion, Apple should change, but you don't need to really go with C. I would make maybe a little bit thicker. It's protected, so you cannot scratch. You cannot. The dirt doesn't go. Corrosion does not really affect. Now, if you make for corrosion, it's kind of a little bit inside. That those contacts, they're not close. They're kind of a little bit. So it's protection here and a kind of like a small roof. So I think it's all right, my opinion. Basically protection for your contacts. So like this. So this would protect it. See, protection. So now if I have subject and I hit this, it's damaged. But this one, no. Anyway, I do shopping. I need to buy a few things. So I got some food. So you got the idea about protection. What else I think? I think, they talk about that button. Button for like make silent. I think they're talking about button that you kind of turn up and down, become yellow or nothing. So I guess they talk about that. I've seen somewhere look like Apple want to change, cannot make any decision. I honestly don't care. But for some reason, sometimes, if you turn off the sound, and maybe for like couple days, it's okay. 3 days. Sometimes it can go back. I had it before. Because I have too many phone calls, I don't like to hear all of them. So I just turn it off. And then for some reason it goes back. I didn't do anything. So if you want to change, I think the change should have longer distance. Maybe even like say not up and down but forward and back. I actually don't care, but it's good, it's convenient. No need to go through all those different programs and settings. You just on the side push it. But I would say it should have, my opinion, it should have more, you know how some say like, it's called, sometimes they apply for stick shift, for the car stick shift, when it goes to shift, it has a certain feel. That's in shift. Whatever, you probably understand. So if you have a stick shift car, like especially a sporty ones, when you switch and you feel like it's a certain feel, because sometimes that Apple switch, I don't know if, yeah, color shows, but sometimes maybe you don't need a color. Like suppose conventional, many people, why don't you need to look at color? I like just to switch and I have that feel like a stick shift car, kind of, it's like it's over there. That's my thinking. So that's my thinking for Apple. I don't have like expensive iPhone. Some inexpensive. Honestly, sometimes I don't like iPhone. I don't like any phone sometimes. I lived in Hawaii. I had a time when I had no phone. So because I had AT&T. If you need for records, you can find AT&T service here for like Facebook or Twitter beginning. I had AT&T service, Orange or Garden Grove, and then I went to Hawaii. For some time I had AT&T, and then I had no phone. So I realized you can live without the phone. The phone at that time in Hawaii, it was so expensive. Like if you do something online, they send me bill like $200. I want to check like few things online and they charge me $200. At that time it was crazy price, so I actually had no phone. I had no job and no phone. Later I got phone and job, but I had a gap in my life where I had nothing. So, but I realized one thing. Like if you don't work, you can live without the phone. And not only live, you can live happy without the phone. So there is no really need for the phone. Like if you look historically, like at elders, they didn't have phones. Like your grandpa, something. They didn't have any phones. In fact, in 1980s, people didn't have cell phones. Just the stationary phone. Or like those. I came to US in 91. I've seen a lot of phones on the street. You put quarters. So actually all those phones, cell phones, basically for this my life, like a little over 30 years. So that's for last 30 years. Not only 30 actually, I would say realistically just flip phones. It's like I think my first flip phone was in Orange. In Orange 2001. I think 2001. So the real life of cell phones for people, it's not that long. 20 years, a little over 20 years. But anyway, in Hawaii I lived, I don't look at the phone. Like right now, many times you look at the phone. In Hawaii, I look at nice waves, good breeze. I look at palms, wind, like palm trees wind. You see they move. I was enjoying nature, all the ocean. But nowadays, recently, after a while, I had to work this and that. All you do is look at the phone, messages, and those stupid messages. A lot of different stupid messages, trying to sell you or something. And those telemarketers. Sometimes I miss my normal call because all those telemarketers are calling and I'm tired of it. I don't even pick up the phone, and then later I say, oh, okay. So I wish, like, if I think it's a good feature. Like, suppose people, and you add, like, you have certain things, huh? You just push on it, so it will ring. But otherwise, those people without that certain thing, it will not ring. I actually like that option. Ring only from necessary people. The rest don't ring. Like look like yellow. It's kind of like optional. That ring only people you chose, and the rest silent. I like that better. But I don't see that option because sometimes I'm really tired of it. And it's actually dangerous. All those cell phones, if they keep ringing, if you keep answering, like if you drive, keep answering, or whatever you do, keep answering. It's dangerous. You need to look at the road or whatever you do, not that phone. I see some people are glued to the phone. I've seen a joke. Somebody had made a joke. 2 police people look at the phone, and one guy came and took him. It's kind of like that. Police should observe, not look at the phone. Not only police, like many other people, security or FBI maybe. But with today's that cell phone stuff, people are glued to the screen. Man. Right now in California, quite cold. I see mountains, white mountains everywhere. So that's actually March. Beginning of March, but damn cold. Okay, what else I can say? Like I said, the Google is, well, Microsoft the same thing. There is no really difference. Well, Microsoft doesn't have my real search engine should have network, physical network. Not only the software on computers for someone's network. And I had front page few variations. One like Bing with picture, another one like Google. Just the name interesting. And then you can add those few things. That's my search engine. That's not AOL 91. So they implemented with illegal papers. And then when you search, what you have on the top, those pictures, whatever, maps, and you have one after one, short text, linking. That's illegal use, I'm telling you. Be it Microsoft, or be it Yahoo, or Google, you know. AOL, if you look at 91 AOL, they didn't have it. That's their way. So then after that, they changed their mind. And all these people, search engines, they're illegal. That's mine, that's not your way. They had to be substantially different. And the network too, and the browser, everything had to be substantially different. Nothing close. They implemented with my ex-wife's stupid papers, and she put up, look like money should go there. I don't see the money. The correct way is not her doing paperwork for me, but her telling them to find me and to do the paperwork. And honestly, you cannot, all the search engines, they cannot offer for training. It should be your product. So if I came to that, it's my product. Don't try to program it. You don't program mine. You should be what you had at Microsoft. You didn't have anything. In 92, you didn't have external system, Explorer, and search engine. That's my search engine, my e-commerce. It's not your e-commerce. I do not allow Microsoft to use, or Google, or anyone. They made up look like they can. They cannot. It's not their stuff. On Wall Street, you need to offer your product. You don't offer my product. You offer your product, and you could not, legally, you could not offer that. Because it's not your product. What's your product? When somebody come to you and tell you to implement, that's not your product. It's my product. So be it Bing, MSN, be it Google, Yahoo, because I had few things. Yandex, I had few things. What you see, few things for the front, but after that, it's pretty much the same. If you type and something to search, it's the same. That's how I had more variations for the front and less variations for the back, for the after you search. All that is illegal use. It's not for investment. Starting from AOL. I don't know what kind of papers they use. I'm telling you, that's illegal. And it's not the federal intellectual property. I came to international ends. That's for countries, because my search engine is based on different countries, international. Based on the end, it will direct. Now, beside that, which is not commercial, I had .org and .gov and .edu, because I didn't like to mix commercial with non-commercial. Well, they can say university for profit, but at that time I thought, suppose I have a building. If I have like trying to organize the building, I don't want to have computers here all mixed up. I like, suppose, based on the end, like .jp or something. Suppose I'm in Japan. For e-commerce, I use .jp. For US, I use .us. So inside of my building, I organize based on the .us for the e-commerce. And then for .edu, I don't mix. I have somewhere else. It can be completely different room behind the wall. And .gov, I decided to go even further. They're outside of my building. They don't even walk in. If .org, I might deal with them. .gov, it's .gov. They're closed, but it's completely nobody's walking in. That's how I had in the beginning. So my search engine and browser is working with it. .org, .gov. So if somebody is typing .org, based on my original plan, it might go to my building. Suppose I have big, huge building, but it's not necessary. It's gonna be in the same room. It could be like a building split. Those computers are for .org, because I came to conclusion in '92. If I have certain business stuff going, and if I have non-business .org, suppose I have someone to talk, right? They just go there, talk about .org. I didn't like idea of mixing commercial with non-commercial. So if I have commercial stuff, they come here. Non-commercial, behind the wall, I have all .org stuff there. And if I have .edu, I might again separate behind that wall bunch of computers. So my original system, it has different ends, but it's different kind of group would handle. Suppose computer engineers or programmers, they would handle those, some this, some that. I didn't like the idea to mix up everything in one room. Here's this, here's that. It's just too much. I didn't like it. I did like not only the end different. I could have the end the same .us for anything, but I did like to separate the commercial from non-commercial. It's just easy for me to sort out. That's how I had. AOL 91, they didn't have all this. .org, that .org, .edu, .gov. I came to that after e-commerce, because first for me was to have e-commerce and so certain network, like to talk, mail or chat. Or later I had what they call it, like social network and groups. And then I was thinking more and more for what is my exploring, what can be good for exploring. So I came to the .org. .org is for like churches or Red Cross, or it can be government organizations, basic organizations which is not really is considered as business. It's not commercial. They're not really commercial. They can use .us if they want, but for me, I did like to separate it. And in case of .gov, it's the same as other part of the building, but they're just outside. Because of those, I did not like idea of big traffic in my building. And like, especially .gov, you take a look, .gov, they have social security, they have this, that. They have a lot of stuff. Basically, the 250 million people are trying to access or do something. I don't need that in my building, you see. All I do is I just connect that .gov to mine. So if there is a guy in a building, in a house, he's typing store, it goes to my computers with stores. But if you want to see organization like Red Cross, he's typing Red Cross, like .org, right? Red Cross, and it goes to other part of the building. He's using the same browser, but it does not mean it's the same location. It would be a little bit maybe here or there. and if they type suppose .gov, it goes to other building. Now whatever they need to do with computers, so that in that case they don't need to come to my building. I don't have traffic. I was like, okay, some traffic maybe .org or .edu, but not all this .gov stuff. And another thing, I actually at some point thought .gov should not have access to everything. I don't know how they implement it, but like suppose if government official is using stuff and go to the .gov, he can get the .gov stuff, but he cannot get whatever people explore after work. Basically, it goes there and back, but it will not allow them to explore what's in my building. Well, customer can, but for government it would be, because it's during their work, they're not supposed to explore different stuff on my computers. They need to do what they're supposed to do. So I had that option to limit to certain things. They're not supposed to, what some call block, right? So they're not supposed to see maybe everything, block certain stuff. If they're accessing from the government. Oh, that you see, that's came to many things. In '92, I went to thinking about exploring from zero, and then I was going further. I had different things. What else? I think I would say. Well, I did say about .gov. Now, if there is .gov California, then .gov California. At that time, I thought, how I'm gonna direct? If .gov, it goes all .gov, but what if Swiss government or some other government? So it would be either .ch.gov or .gov.ch or something like that. I had additional things to direct to what .gov. Well, if I do everything based on and for the country, so it would be .gov.ch, more correct. So when it goes to ch, it goes to .gov, because it could be many .gov. You don't put 200 countries .gov. So I had that additional gov, but the country. Now another thing, finance. So I did think long time about system and everything. So my finance basically, I say mine, but it's other companies. But I didn't know where to put in the beginning. I didn't know where to put, how to handle it. So I came to a conclusion it should be close. So I call mine, but it's not really mine. I mean, if you have, like, suppose I have a platform like Amazon. That's my platform for new items. Now, if I need finance, people need to use credit cards or debit cards, and I need to add to my platform, then I call it my finance. Sometimes I might call it, but it's not really my finance. It belongs to Visa or MasterCard or other ones. So I came to a conclusion, I don't want to run. So suppose like somebody accessing, right, it goes to your platform, like suppose Amazon, which is my new item platform. I don't want to run from when they click to buy. I don't want to run to Visa, God knows where. That's additional time for exploring, additional time and additional risk. anytime you run cables, additionally, it will be additional risk. Like from the point of wires, either from the wires point or from the point of the longer the piece, the more people can get it. So I did not like idea of after people accessing my platform to run far away. For all my stuff, I did not like to run somewhere far away. So I came to the conclusion the finance should be closed. Be it like I have .us computers, or let's say e-commerce computers. So I have computers here, and I like to have finance somewhere here. I don't like to run God knows where. So either they are having their computers in my room, suppose I have a huge room, right? Or they might have behind the wall, or if they really want, have a separate building and put computers there, but close. I'm okay to run short distance, but I'm not okay to run, suppose, from Colorado to New York and back. I can run maybe even within Colorado, but not God knows where. So, and if within Colorado, it's probably the closest town to me, to my sister. So that would be like that. So that's how my e-commerce is. I have a platform, which is my software, and I have finance, which is closed. See, AOL didn't have all that. They had in the middle of New York some small things. Now, because I have international cables, the same system, new items, can be in India, can be anywhere else. I don't need for India to put in Hindi language in US. I don't need it. I just put the same system over there, so the same what they call Amazon or eBay. So I would have for their language over there. So if they're accessing, they don't go to US, it goes over there. And then finance-wise, that would be, I'm not sure if this Visa, they have Visa there, so they would need to put their stuff over there. So they don't go to my here, because if you see that India or that this or that, it means they have similar system over there. It's redirection to that system. And if you like, suppose any search engine you have, Japanese or any other one, if you type Japanese or the Japan, it goes there, and they have finance everything there. So if you buy on Japanese site, it will be finance there. You use that one. Basically, it's a little bit complicated system, but I just didn't like to run extra cable, unless the finance will restrict. No, we need to go through. But anytime you go back and forth, like I said, exposure, and then you use time, cables, whatever, traffic. So if they don't like how it is, then okay, show me your American place in Japan, and when they click, it will go there, not to America and back. What else? Actually, that finance should not approve all these companies because they had fraud and forgery. They were implementing with fraud and forgery. The finance had to disapprove them. Visa and all those. Because based on paper, I am over there, but I'm here. And if I didn't sign, and Olga signed or someone else, that forgery. Finance would have to disapprove. I'm not joking. Finance would need to disapprove. Like you see Google Pay. First of all, it's not your intellectual property, you implement it. And that Google Pay, because of that network, and they have fraud and forgery with it, that Google Pay had to be disapproved. And even PayPal too. You are not doing something for some kind of unknown stuff. You're doing for my network and my configuration and my e-commerce. That was my one payment system. And if you do for that, and that system based on fraud and forgery, and whatever they told you, if they said I'm okay, that's fraud. I'm not okay. It's made up. I'm here, they talk for me somewhere else. They don't talk for me somewhere else. They talk in storage somewhere else. So basically, even PayPal, they had to be disapproved. Because if you ask, where did you get it? Where did you get that idea? Oh, he said, or he said, she said. Stop right there. He's not a husband, first of all. And he's not there. She's not supposed to sign. He's not okay to implement. Did you talk to Talent or not? No. Who you talk to? Those people, I'm sure. They are tweaking. They don't tell you the truth. Basically, you're implementing, but legally it's not that great as you might think. I can disqualify right now PayPal and Google Pay because you need to trade your product, but you don't. You use fraud and forgery, and you want to use finance. Finance would disapprove all of it. They just don't know, but they would disapprove. I can tell finance just like that. Anytime you see paper, I'm overseas, that's fraud. From 92, I came to the system 92 till today. I was in the United States or Hawaii, which is United States. I did not live overseas. Any paper you see they have, you can automatically disqualify for finance because that's already what they call breach or whatever it is called. It's a finance problem. They cannot go further if it has fraud already. And if I'm here and somebody signed there, that's forgery. You're not supposed to even step into doing any finance. So, and the same with investment banking, the same with online banking. Online banking is my banking. I came to online banking for my system later. It is working with my network. It's not some alternative network. I'm serious. So whoever talked to banks about online banking, they had fraud and forgery. Look like I'm overseas allowed, but I'm not. I'm here. So whoever was talking about online banking, they didn't have good legal papers. They actually had to be disapproved. I don't know how they got approved. They probably were showing this and this. But if you say, okay, I don't know, but show me the attorney, show me ID. They approve without attorney, without ID. That's called deficiency of normal legal approvals. That had to be disapproved. So somebody tweak here and there, push here and there. That's how they got approved, but it should be disapproved, really. Anyway, so that's shortly I can say. I'm driving back home. Got some food. If Wall Street wanna talk, I can talk. If banks online like to talk to me, I can talk to banks online. Because I came to it. It's not AOL 91 brain and it's not Yahoo Brain, and it's not what's his name, MSN, Google's. I came to that for my system in '92, and they implemented later. So I can say, have a good time. Bye.